Hey, what's up, everyone? It is Alex Light, also known as Xenovolution, here with Sparky3. We just completed the DBA Season 2 draft, and me and my friend Thurblife, also known as Plug Daddy, who's my co-host over at Lighthearted. Make sure to check out our podcast. All the links are going to be down in the description below, as well as all of his information is going to be down in the links in the description below. Me and him are going to give a full breakdown of the entire teams, all 4 teams, and kind of give our thoughts on how we think the teams are going to fare this upcoming season, and just what we think the teams are going to bring to the table and everything like that. So let's get the layout changed over, where Mr. Plug Daddy is on the screen with me. Should be this layout right there, as well as the team. Let me unmute him. Nick, you are on, my friend. How are you doing?
Hi, boys. We're here. We're queer. Get used to it.
He's got his gaming do-rag on.
Yes.
And hey, yeah, show off the shirt for the people. Show off what we made in T-shirt knockout.
This is the kind of sweet merch you guys can expect from us. The Charlie Brown penis shirt drawn by me with the caption.
By me. That was my caption.
So be sure to cop these on the merch store. But that's it.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a full breakdown. He is the coach of the Washington Whimsicots, which I have on screen. His logo is right above him, and I've also got my logo right above me. Well, I mean, you can't see it, but I can.
Oh.
I see the whole thing, yeah.
Well, that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck kind of sorcery is this?
So I got the team here on the screen. So who do you want to start with? Do you want to start with mine and your team, or do you want to start with Jarod and Josh's teams?
Let's start with Jarod and Josh's team.
Okay, let's start with theirs. Let's start with, we'll just go ahead and go with how the draft order was. We'll go with Jarod.
We'll do that.
Yeah, we'll go with Jarod, Josh, you, and we'll finish up with me. So let's start with Jarod's team. So Jarod, Pittsburgh Piplups. Last season, he lost every single game, didn't win a round. He's new to competitive. He quickly tried to learn it, getting into the league, and throughout this offseason, I've taken the time to try to coach him up. I consider him my pupil, my student. I have faith.
He's the Anakin.
I have faith.
You're the Obi-Wan.
I have faith. I have faith in this guy.
I leave him in the lava.
I think he actually drafted a really good team. He drafted a good team last time. He just didn't properly EV train it and everything like that, where it could have been really dangerous. But Nick, with his draft, what is the first thing that you see out of it? Like, what do you think of his team? Just looking at it right off the bat.
Well, he's got some returning friends. Pretty much Bolton, Steelix. I think that's the only two.
Yeah, that's it. Those two. Yeah.
Returning from his championship losing team. So that's interesting. The G-Max Blastoise is actually something I really kind of wanted on one of my teams until I decided, fuck it. G-Max Blastoise gives pretty much, the same effect as Charizard and Venusaur's G-Max do, where it does chip damage on non-water type Pokemon.
Right.
So that'd be pretty hype. The Drapion I really liked.
I like that pick a lot.
It's not like super, oppressive, but it'll put in some work for you. Another Pokemon I thought was really strange was Malamar. I didn't even consider this Pokemon. I actually forgot it was in the draft list. Alakazam will be really good, even though he doesn't have the Psychic Surge or Psychic Terrain setting abilities on his team. Half the teams in the league do, but between me and you with Indeedee male and Indeedee female.
Right.
So he doesn't really have to worry about that. Tyranitar is probably one of the best VGC Pokemon right now, at least in the top 5.
True.
So that was good that he was able to pick that up right away. Halucha is going to be really good with terrains. So I don't know if he knows that or not.
I'm going to tell him. I'm going to make sure that he knows about the Eviolite play, because I know he mentioned with Morgrem. Like that's another thing I was wanting to tell him is Eviolite on Morgrem. But I was going to let him know that, as well as the Halucha is really good on terrains. Like put like a Psychic Seed on it or something. Or
Psychic Seed, which is no one actually drafted Rillaboom, which I was actually kind of surprised.
Yeah, we had Rillaboom in the A tier, and it didn't end up getting drafted. That goes into effect that we're a small league, so it's just kind of how it turned out.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, he can always be picked up later.
Yeah,
but. No, the Emolga was the hustle, though. That was, I think, his last pick was Flying Pikachu.
Flying Pikachu was the dead last pick of the draft.
So, Emolga's not like a super great Pokemon, but I've used it in black and white too on my actual squad, and it put in some work. It put in some OT for me, but I don't know like how competitive it is. I don't think it's very competitive. But other than that, no, Jarod brought back the tech. He brought back Steelix with explosion, so that'll be a great thumbnail bait again. Boltund properly EV trained is going to be a monster, considering last time it wasn't properly EV trained and it was still like half healthing my mons. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, when it came to last season, you know, like I said, Jarod was really new to competitive, so like some of the mons that he used was like playthrough mons and stuff. So like his Boltund was his playthrough mon, so EVs were all over the fucking place. If he properly EV trains that thing, and I when I was teaching him a couple weeks ago, the strong jaw is something that I said that, hey man, you didn't utilize this. And I told him, like, you know, if I was you, I would have run like Thunder Fang and Ice Fang, because Ice Fang covered his one weakness of ground, and then run Play Rough, which is obviously doesn't get Strong Jaw bonus, but it's extra coverage, and then just fill the last one with whatever Crunch. You don't necessarily need Fire Fang, but I think if he actually properly EV trains Boltund, like that thing is going to be a fucking monster.
Yeah, Jared's got a pretty solid team actually. I mean, like you said, last year his team was good. I mean, it could have been obviously a lot better. Obviously, but now this one's pretty good. He's got a couple plays he can do here, and a lot of his team doesn't like synergize with each other. It more synergizes with like the stuff on everyone else's team, which is kind of a problem. It makes you not want to bring it.
True.
And so there's that.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Drapion pick though. When he made that in what round 6, last pick round 6. I was really happy with that pick. I have a competitive Drapion in my game that I've just done some bullshit like online stuff with. You know, with running Sniper, run like Scope Lens on it or something like that to increase crit chant moves, and then he has moves like Night Slash. There's a whatever the poison move is called that has an increased crit chance. I forgot what it's called. And then like X Scissor, like. Dude, Drapions could be a legitimate threat. I think its only weakness is ground, if I remember correctly. I'm drawing a blank, but I think it's ground. I agree with you. I like the return of Boltund and Steelix. Hawlucha is a great play because me and you both have Psychic terrain. We're the only ones with terrain setters, both being Psychic with you and DD male, me and DD female. So, you know, put Psychic Seed on Hawlucha, that could be a potential problem. And then, you know, us having Psychic terrain, you know, he puts Expanding Force on Alakazam, and man, that's a fucking problem for us. I do like the Blastoise G-Max. I like that a lot. Malamar was probably the most shocking pick to me. I thought that was interesting, but I think it could actually be a surprise good pick if he gets it, you know, properly EV trained and runs some good stuff with it. I know he's been utilizing Pikalytics since I introduced him to that, so he can kind of get an idea what other people are doing. So I'm really interested to see what he's going to come with that team. I'm really hoping for a few wins out of Jarod this year. I think he's done really well to try to progress. And
yeah, I'm not sure what Malamar does.
I don't know either, but
the rest of them I have like an idea. So
right, I know Malamar could be like what Josh was saying, a good like anti-trick room kind of thing. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to see what Jared's going to do with the team. I like that he got my my Morgrim though, Area 51 Kyle, who was on my team last season. I thought that was fantastic.
In the draft, which are you showing the draft like in the background or like what? Are we just talking?
I have the same picture that I sent in the Discord pulled up for the if you're talking about the draft comments. That's in my draft reaction video.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Your Kyle comments are in the video. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle can go fuck himself.
Yeah, Kyle was a problem.
Kyle avoided 3 muddy waters.
That's right. Kyle was a good one. I was really happy to see Morgan get picked. That made me feel good.
Yeah, and then you have his dad, Buff Chad. Or whatever.
I do. I have Buff Chad, which I was actually thinking about naming Krampus was gonna be the play, but I kind of like Chad. I kind of like Buff Chad or something. That could be funny. We'll see.
Buff Dobby.
Yeah, well, that's yours. I don't want to take yours.
Yeah, pay homage to Buff Dobby.
Yeah, and name him Buff Dobby. We'll see. I don't know. So let's talk about Josh, the Arkansas State Lycanrocs, you know, who came in 3rd last season. I made a lot of jokes in the draft reaction. You know, he's very predictable in what he was going to draft. In my opinion, like most of his picks I had on my Josh bingo board, as me and you called it. The only ones that came as surprise to me, I would say Blastoise. That one was a little bit of a shocker, and Obstagoon. I did not expect that one, but like I know Mimikyu is one of his favorites. I know Alolan Ninetales is one of his favorites. Porygon 2 didn't surprise me because I mean that's just a really good fucking Pokemon. That's like the king of Eviolite, probably followed by Dusclops. Dragapult, like he hates Dragapult, but I knew he was gonna draft it because I called him out on it at one point. And he's like, "Oh fuck yeah, the Dragapult I was thinking about getting." So looking at his team, like he's got a Weather Setter with Alolan Ninetales as well as Alolan Sandslash, which can follow up with the weather, which that could be a problem because looking at everyone else's team, no one else has Weather Setters. So he has.
Jarod has Tyranitar.
That's okay. Yeah. Well, if he run, yeah, you're right. You're right. If he runs Sandstream,
which Tyranitar's Sand, if they throw him out at the same time, is going to overset Alolan Ninetales because I believe Alolan Ninetales is faster.
True.
So
yeah,
there you go.
See, I didn't get weather because going into the draft, I was really thinking that terrain was going to be what everyone was going to get. So I didn't really plan to get a weather setter. So going into Josh, he's going to lead with that weather. That Sandslash is going to do some damage. So it's just going to be an interesting one to see how it's going to play out. He's got regular Blastoids, which can like Shell Smash and stuff like that. Mimikyu, obviously, with the Disguise, which is always an issue. Amoonguss with Rage Powder, Spore, Poison Powder. Vikavolt, which is going to be a good Trick Room Mon for him. He got a premier Trick Room setter in Porygon. Obstagoon, because he's expecting expanding force and psychic types. Dragapult, very interested to see what he's going to be doing with Dragapult. I know one thing, because I was predicting this in the video that I thought he was going to get Weavile or Inteleon to activate his Weakness Policy Steam Engine, and I actually forgot about Dragapult Surf Play. So that's going to be his Colossal Weakness Policy Steam Engine activator. So, I mean, I like Josh's team. It's very Josh themed.
Does Blastoise get Aqua Jet or anything?
I don't know if it gets Aqua Jet. It might.
I don't know if he learns it through breeding or not.
I don't know. Let me find out. I can pull it up real fast.
I have it right here. Hold on. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong. Through breeding. Oh, yeah, he can learn Aqua Jet through breeding.
Okay, so that's a possibility as well.
Yes, sir.
So he's got two different Weakness Policy Steam Engine activators. So that's an issue. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what Josh does with the team. I mean, Josh, he's pretty knowledgeable in the competitive play. So I'm pretty excited to see what all he's going to do with it. Like, I mean, you're going to have stuff like I expect a Porygon Amoonguss lead where Amoonguss will Rage Powder, and then you're going to activate Trick Room with probably like Vikavolt in the back, maybe. That's just kind of first thoughts. I don't know. What do you think of Josh's team looking at it?
Josh definitely has some scary pieces in there. With it looks like he's going for mostly. He's got like two different plays here. He's got the Trick Room play, and then he's got, like you said, the Colossal play. And then Obstagoon, he literally said, "This is for all you expanding force bitches out there." He's gonna be the MVP.
Right.
So, I mean, like Mimikyu's annoying to deal with, but not like the past couple generations. Yeah, past one. I mean, it's only been Gen 7, right?
Yep.
Okay. Amoonguss is a world championship Pokemon. I was actually surprised he picked up in the first round. Not gonna lie. When I saw C-tier Amoonguss pop up, I'm like, oh, cool, I can get whatever I want now.
I mean, I was gonna get him with my first two picks, and Josh fucked me. Fuck you, Josh.
Yeah, the Blastoise, I toyed around with. Alolan Ninetales, I also toyed around with. Porygon 2, I didn't really fuck with. Because if I was going to get a Pokemon that's like Trick Room, a premier Trick Room setter, I was just going to pick up Dusclops. Like, Porygon 2 is like budget Dusclops.
Right.
I mean, they do the same thing. Porygon 2 is just like a little bit worse, in my opinion. But, now the Dragapult's definitely going to be interesting because there's so many different sets you can run with it, so many different options for it, that it's going to be challenging to figure out which one he's going to be running running the week you're playing him. Is he going to go special? Is he going to go physical? Is he going to go, fuck you, I'm going Colossal,
Right.
But, now Vikavolt's kind of scary. I wanted that for my Season 1 team, and I never ended up getting it. I think someone either picked it up or
No one got it season 1.
no one got it season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could have sworn that Josh picked up, but
No, he got knocked out. Remember? No, he got knocked out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He picked up the goat. And,
the trash bird.
Nah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how this team plays out. I think I played. No, I play you week 1, don't I?
Yep, we play week 1.
Okay, well, there you
Rematch
go.
of the championship. This is your chance to
Jesus.
fuck me. Go ahead and let's get my loss out of the way, so that way I can come back and win the rest of the season.
Bruh, same. But nah, Josh has got a pretty good team. I know you know in your video you were probably memeing the shit out of him, and be like, "Oh, I got the Josh bingo," but you know.
No, I mean I was memeing him the whole time.
I don't know if he actually wanted more of his own, like, Pokemon. Like, I know he really likes Hawlucha, and I know he likes Tyranitar, and like all them. And I don't know if he just scrapped it halfway through and was like, "Fuck you, Jarod." I don't know, but nah, this team's pretty solid.
Yeah, I like it. I like what he's got. What's so scary about the team is, just like you said, man, he's got so many different modes. Is he going to run a Trick Room mode? Is he going to run the Weather mode? Is he going to run the Weakness Policy Steam Engine? A lot to expect. And I know the Obstagoon pick, he's planning to get rid of the Expanding Force, whatever. But, in terms of, like, me and you doing Expanding Force with, like, you with a low and Raichu can learn Expanding Force, and you have Indeedee that can do it. I have my Indeedee that can do it. Jarod has Alakazam that can do it. If me and you are going to be running the Expanding Force and he brings out Obstagoon, yeah, it might be a bit of a play. We got to work around it, whatever. But I'm going to be honest, if Jarod runs with Alakazam against his Obstagoon, like, let's say me or you had Alakazam along with our Indeedees, Alakazam is going to fuck Obstagoon, because all you got to do is, like, Dynamax, Max Knuckle, because Alakazam learns Focus Blast. Easy play, dude. Easy play. Alakazam has a base 120 speed. Obstagoon is not outrunning that, man. Just fucking D-Max, fucking Max Knuckle, whatever dark type you bring. Dunzo. So, I mean, there's the easy workarounds, man. Like, I mean, you've got, you got your boy Scrafty. You can pop out some fighting and just beat the hell out of Obstagoon. I got my boy Simeon Buff Momo back into the fray.
Does Josh have a fighting type? No, Josh doesn't have a fighting type.
No, he doesn't.
Interesting.
Yep. So it'll be interesting. I like both their teams so far, though. So let's talk about your team. It's your team, man. Get some thoughts. What was your did everything go to plan for you? Did everything go to plan? Or did you get fucked? What's the deal?
Well, the plan happened this morning, right? I had some plans, and I would show it, but I can't. I have like 15 different fucking sticky notes on this other monitor, right? The entire thing's covered up. Poor Joker's covered up in fucking sticky notes right now. And I pretty much took bits and pieces from every single one of those and just crammed it all into one fucking team. And I was like, we'll see what happens, I know you and probably Josh went through Showdown and all that stuff and tested your teams. I'm like, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. We're gonna go with this. On paper, these things should win. So, first overall pick, I had to get my boy, the redemption arc that I didn't get last time.
Sorry.
So, Whimsicott, welcome home, brother. So after Whimsicott, I'm like, all right, got to get Arcanine up in this bitch. So, another one of my favorites. And then, what was my third pick? Did I end up picking, I think I picked Indeedee Male, right?
Indeedee Male was your round 3 pick.
Yeah, so I picked up Indeedee Male after you picked up Indeedee Female. Because I was like, I don't want anyone else to grab this. I kind of need this, Psychic Surge if I'm going to, be running another Expanding Force user. Because I had Raichu. Shit, that's Raichu. But,
there you go, there's your nickname.
Raichu.
Yeah.
Now, he already has a nickname, but, now, Raichu was one of those ones that I was kind of iffy about. Like, if someone got him, I wasn't fucked up because I had about 2 or 3 other choices I could go with. Including, Gummy Bear could have come back, or another. I was looking at Luxray for a little while. A couple other Mons. But I'm like, I just settled on Raichu, a low end for him, and I'm like, now that the event's out, I can actually get them because I don't have a Gen 7 playthrough where I beat it, and I don't have enough, like, I don't want to go back and play Gen 7. Fuck that.
I don't want to play it either.
But So I picked up that one after. No. Yeah, I wanted something to pair with the Indeedee mail, and that was probably the best option I had. So I was like, okay, cool. We'll roll with that. We'll see what we can do. It doesn't require much more setup than what I had. I mean, it can learn other things. I'm pretty sure it can learn like fake out and stuff. So that's pretty hype. I know regular Raichu can. After that, I picked up Lapras G-Max because, one, I really like Lapras as a Pokemon. Two, the G-Max Resonance sets up screens.
Yeah, the Aurora Veils, whatever.
Yeah, the Aurora Veil, pretty much. So that's pretty great. Looking forward to that. Definitely give my team a couple more, they can take a few more hits than they otherwise normally would. And G-Max, Lapras is just strong in general. I mean, a lot of people don't think it can be offensive, but hell yeah, fuck yeah, brother, it can be offensive. Not offensive, but,
Right. No, it 100% can, yeah.
Then after that, I think I picked up... Did I pick up Porygon Z next? Or did I pick up Butterfree?
After the G-Max Lapras, you got Butterfree, and then Porygon Z, and then Scrafty, and then Raichu, and then your Sligo, and then your Bisharp.
Yeah, so after that, I picked up Butterfree, because Butterfree's got the ability Compound Eye, so, it's got the increased accuracy, so you can just kind of just drop spores at almost a 100% rate. Just put something to sleep. So I was like, okay, that's cool. You don't have to coil Hypnosis and pray to, or don't even coil and pray to the gods.
Right.
It's a lot less RNG. So I went with that. I'm like, all right, Butterfree can go out there and kind of do this stuff. Neat. I mean, it's got a couple other things. I toyed around with drafting G-Max Butterfree as well, but I was like, you know what? I kind of want that resonance. And after my Butterfree, I ended up picking Porygon Z, which is just a fucking monster.
True. Very fast, very high special attack. Good mon.
Yeah, it's a prime Dynamax,
user
Pokemon. Yeah, it works really well in the Dynamax. I mean, it's normal type, which kind of sucks ass, but it's only getting hit by fighting type super effectively.
Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, Porygon Z's got pretty good stats across the board. Definitely highest in special attack. It's gonna fucking destroy a lot of this stuff. Tri-attack is a pretty good. I think it's got a good ability. It's got like what, download or something where
analytic,
analytic
or whatever.
Yeah, it's got some good shit going there. Scrafty was one of those ones I wanted to pick up just because I wanted a fighting type. This generation he had an increased, I think it's either stats or he got some new moves. I think he finally learns close combat. So I thought that was pretty hype. I'm pretty sure he can get Drain Punch as well.
I think so.
Or Power Up Punch or something. I don't know, he's just a good Pokemon. Especially since, no one's running right now with Togekiss running around. There's not a whole lot of fairy types. I figured, it was probably pretty safe to pick up the Scrafty, considering he's 4 times weak to fairy or whatever. So
right,
and he's immune to psychic, so that makes him a prime fighting type Pokemon, especially since you got expanding force out the ass apparently. Yeah, and then I picked up Sliggoo, and Sliggoo is one of those mons where I was sitting there this morning and I was like, man, I really need a Dragon-type Pokemon, but we have no Dragon-type Pokemon in the lower tiers, so I went back and I looked through it again, and I'm like, well, I can get Drampa. I'm like, nah, I don't really want Drampa. I'm like, he's kind of, he's slow, and he's like, he requires some setup, and whatever, but I'm like, I can get Zweilous, and Zweilous just didn't have enough stats. It gets fucked by Fairy 4 times, it gets fucked by Ice, gets fucked by Fighting, and I'm like, well, how about no? And I'm like, what about Sliggoo? And I looked at Sliggoo, and I'm like, alright, you know what? I really like Goodra, and Goodra was actually on one of my other teams. It was on my Rain team that I had made, and I was like, let's roll with Sliggoo. We can just throw an Eviolite on that bad boy, get the whole shebang going. And boom, boom. He's it's kind of like a scuffed Goodra, it's a baby Goodra.
Right.
And Yeah, my last pick, I was sitting there trying to flex between like 5 or 6 different things, so I wasn't 100% sure. I'm like, I need a steel type, but I can live without it if I really wanted to. And I ended up just picking up Bizsharp, which it wasn't my, first pick. It was, I mean, technically, I guess it was on my list over here, but I could have substituted like 5 or 6 other Pokemon for it.
Right.
So I wasn't fucked up if it was gone. Kind of like Raichu. I was like, if it's gone, whatever. I got other choices. Same thing with my C picks. Pretty much most of my C picks, I'm like, if it's gone, I'm not fucked up. I got my core. That's what I needed. So I was like, all right, I'm good. Pretty much halfway through the draft, like I told you, I started just wilding out, and I'm like, we'll see what the fuck I'm gonna pick up. Because I know a lot of you guys are like, he's gonna pick up Gummy Bear, or he's gonna get, Milotic, or Jellyfish.
I personally did not was not thinking you were gonna get Gummy Bear or Mr. Pringle. I was thinking Milotic could come back, but the moment you drafted like Lapras, I knew you weren't getting Milotic.
I mean, that doesn't stop me before.
Man, that's true.
I drafted like 3 water types last season.
Yeah.
So, but nah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, I'm not gonna reveal my team strats through this. Obviously.
Right. Yep.
But pretty much they all work together in a certain way.
Right.
A couple different groups. Now, as you can tell, I don't really have a trick room per se.
I think Porygon can set it, but he's not good in it.
He's use it. I don't really have a whole lot of stuff that's going to be good in it.
And then Indeedee can set it as well. So you at least have a setter.
Yeah, I have the setters, but I'm not going to be using it a whole lot. Hopefully,
right.
That's the one weakness I think my team really has, is that I don't really have a trick room mode outside of either reversing it or whatever, just having to suffer through it.
Right.
But other than that, nah, I think my team's pretty solid. I think it's a lot better team than last season, although we went to the finals or whatever. But I definitely got more things I wanted this year than last season.
Right.
Last season I got fucked right from the get-go. Thank you. And it was like a continuous pounding on me, which I think you said you experienced this season. If you want to go through and start your draft.
Well, I was actually wanting to touch on yours a little bit. Yeah, no, you have a really good draft. Like, honestly, like, literally your G-Max to B is really, really good. Your C is where I kind of was, or I look at it and I'm just like, okay, I see where things could have been done different. I love the Butterfree pick, though. I really do. Compound Dives, you can do Rage Powder, you can do the Sleep Powder, Poison Powder, Sleep and Poison to have 75% accuracy, so Compound Dives is going to make your life a lot easier. Scrafty's a good pick. The Sligo pick was kind of, Sligo is kind of interesting, but I like it. It's just your Bizsharp is what really caught me off guard, because, like, I looked at your team right there when you were drafting in round 10, and I'm just like, well, he's got a Firewater Grass, he's got a Dragon now, he doesn't have a Steel or a Fairy to complete that core. You could get Klefki, do Prankster, set screens, and then I was like, well, you could also do Pincurchin. He doesn't have anything to set up for a low-end Raichu with Surge Surfer, and I'm just like, I was thinking it was going to be one of those two. So I would say, like, in my opinion, Bizsharp is probably your weakest link, which, from the sound of it, that was the one where you're just kind of iffy on anyway. I think that's probably your weakest link, potentially, especially since, you already have a Dark type with Scrafty. You just don't have the Steel. But, I mean, you got, like, honestly, like, your G-Max to, probably I would say your G-Max all the way down to Butterfree. Those scare me a lot. Scrafty kind of scares me. Sliggoo really doesn't. Bizsharp really doesn't. But, like, your G-Max, like, Lapras down to low-end Raichu and Butterfree, like, that's all really good fucking picks. So I'm really excited to see what you're going to do with that, with your secret strats and stuff.
What we're going to do, the plan is that I'm going to lose. I'm going to throw Season 2.
Right. Well, last up, let's talk about my team. Man, with this draft, like last season with the draft, I only lost one pick that I wanted to get, and that was Jarod drafted Boltund. That was the only Pokemon that I lost in the draft last season, and I ended up getting Arctozolt instead, which is okay. I mean, it made a couple of appearances. It wasn't. I would have used Boltund more if I would have had him. But with that ice typing, it just made him too frail, so I just didn't bring him that much. But this season, man, I got fucked right off the 2 picks, dude. Right out of the gate. First 2 picks, man. So, alright, Josh drafted Porygon 2 and Amoonguss. Those are both mons that I was planning to draft. I mean, whenever I was prioritizing what all I needed to draft, there were 5 Pokemon, right, that I was scared were going to get taken. And that was Cinderace, Porygon 2, Indeedee Female, Talonflame, and Amoonguss. Those are the 5 that I was afraid were going to get taken. I was trying to prioritize them. Where should I draft them based on, like, the backup plans? If Cinderace would have got drafted, whatever. I'll get Incineroar. If Incineroar would have got drafted, I would have flipped a coin after that. It wouldn't have mattered or whatever. But those were the top two, was Cinderace and Incineroar. I felt good about both. For Talonflame, my backup was actually going to be Noivern, because Noivern has such a high base speed, so he could still set Tailwind. He wouldn't have got the priority, but he still would have been fast as fuck, where I could have set it pretty easily. In DD Female, my backup plan was going to be in DD Male or Clefable. I wanted the Terrain Setter, but I wanted a Follow Me as well, and DD Male cannot learn Follow Me. So that's where I was kind of, I could get Clefable, but I really like what DD Female does more. Amoonguss, my backup plan, like Amoonguss was, Josh got Amoonguss second overall pick, so that automatically really fucked me. I was gonna draft Amoonguss with my first two picks, because I didn't really care for my backup plans. My backup plans, we have Amoonguss in C tier, as you see, which also, for the record, we know Amoonguss is not a C tier. Let me stress that. We know, with only 4 coaches, we really divvied up Pokemon across every tier, so it's more easy access to get stuff. That's why you're going to see stuff that are lower than what they should be. We get it. We know he's not a C. But my backup plans was Butterfree, which you did not cuck me because I already made up my mind before you even drafted it. But Butterfree, even Tangela, which as you can see I got Tangrowth, so you see where I went with that. Shiinotic was one. That was a possibility. I know you hate that thing, even besides the fact it looks like a weird soulless toad.
I wanted to love it so much, but it just sucks so damn bad in Sun and Moon. I'm just like, all right, I finally got this toad guy. I'm like, cool. When do I learn a fairy move? It's like, haha, fairy. Haha, grass.
Well, see, the big thing why I was wanting it is because it has Spore, which is obviously the upgraded version of Sleep Powder, because the accuracy's better. So that was kind of the selling point. But the big thing that pushed me to kind of change my team midway through was I really wanted another redirection user besides Follow Me. That was the plan. And that's why I was considering Tangela in the C tier. And because Tangela and Tangrowth can learn Rage Powder. Just like your Butterfree can learn Rage Powder. And, Tangela, I mean, like, its stats, really aren't that bad, which is not necessarily surprising considering once upon a time, for 3 generations, it didn't have an evolution, right? So you had to make it at least somewhat usable. So its stats really wasn't that bad. I could have Eviolited it and just move on with my life, but I already have an Eviolite user set in either Porygon 2 or Dusclops. But, so the play that I changed up is originally I was going to go Dragalge, who is a B tier. That was going to be the play. My B tiers would have been Indeedee, Talonflame, Passimian, and Dragalge, because I drafted a B tier Gigantamax, which gave me the opportunity to draft a B or a C tier. And I ended up scrapping it in favor of Tangrowth. I really like some of the stuff Tangrowth brings to the table. Like I said in my draft reaction video, I'm a grass hole. I love my grass Pokemon. And I've been working on a Grass Master team, monotype ranked ladder team, and Tangrowth is actually on most of those teams because of Rage Powder, because it can learn Ancient Power, which that's more for grass types, because 4 or 5 of the weaknesses are weak to rock. But basically, I've toyed with Tangrowth. I've never actually had a chance to use it, and I'm actually really excited to use Tangrowth. I'm actually really pumped up. I think it can bring a lot of different stuff to the table, offensively and defensively, as a support, whatever. I think it, depending on the set that I want to run, it can come in like where someone can expect it just to strictly be a support, but it can come in and just fucking shove those vines up your butt. Like, I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith in this thing. I think it has a lot of potential. So midway through, I'm just like, all right, here's the play, boys. We're gonna drop Dragalge off the mock draft, and we're gonna go back to Snoop Dragon, who was on my Season 1 team. We're going to get Drampa again. He's going to pretty much the same thing that Dragalge was going to do in terms of a slow dragon type in Trick Room. I really liked, Drampa, I didn't use him that much last season, but he really came in clutch in the championship game with you, and he came in clutch those last couple games in the season, so I really got a good feel for him. Passimian, my boy Buff Momo, my MVP from my team last year. Passimian and Drampa being 2 Pokemon that I drafted last season. They are making their comeback. Buff Momo was my MVP of the league, MVP of my season. So I definitely wanted to get him back. Obviously, Azumarill. I mean, it's not hidden between any of you. There's no point in me eluding it. Obviously, huge power. Transfer that over with Receiver. I did the same thing last season with Diggersby. Togedemaru. Okay, so Togedemaru was actually on my almost every single draft board last season, but I ended up swapping it out for, I think, in favor of Drampa. I think Drampa is what I replaced Togedemaru with last season. So I wanted to take a chance to actually use Togedemaru. I think it can bring a lot to the table. It can learn Nuzzle, Zing Zap, Iron Head. It can fake out. I mean, it has a lot of different stuff that it can do. Pretty good speed, good attack stats. The steel typing is always a good thing to have. I completed my Fairy Steel Dragon core. I always like having an electric type on the team if possible. Cinderace, I mean Libero. I mean, dude, come on. It can be 4 different types in a match. I mean, that's very, very handy. Grimmsnarl, that was the G-Max I really wanted. I really love Grimmsnarl. I like what it brings because I can bring Grimmsnarl in a lot of different ways. Naturally, a lot of people are going to expect like Prankster and screens. Fair. Put Light Clay on it, extend those screens. Or I can bring it as more of an offensive threat. I can bring it as a, it can be one of my Tailwind Mon. It can be one of my Trick Room Mons. Because its speed is in a range where it could work well in a Tailwind situation, but it could also go no good speed and work well in a Trick Room. I can bring it as an offensive threat. I can max out the defenses. I can max out the HP and max out the attack. I mean, I have a lot of possibilities with this Mon. I like its G-Max move to put people to sleep. That was one of the things I was kind of going for here with Grimmsnarl and Amoonguss. Amoonguss didn't work out, obviously. But, I mean, overall, I got everything that was on my original draft. Josh getting Porygon and Amoonguss with his first 2 picks really fucked me, and I had to quickly kind of change up what my plan was. But I like the team because it has a lot of different options where it's kind of like with Josh's team, you don't necessarily know what I'm going to bring because I can do a lot of different stuff with the team. I'm pretty happy with what we got. I'm very excited to use Tangrowth. I think Tangrowth, I have some plans with Tangrowth. I think I got some good possibility. What do you think about looking at my team?
When I saw you draft Tangrowth, I'm just like, what the fuck? Honestly, I was sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck, Tangrowth? I'm like, B pick Tangrowth? I'm like, alright,
Yeah.
whatever. Togedemaru I haven't looked into, but I know it can be a little bastard. So, there's that. As soon as I saw, I think you drafted Passimian and Azumarill literally together,
Back to
and I
back,
was
yep.
like, well, I already know that that's coming. Poor Diggersby, he got cucked. He's gone. He's off the team. You didn't make it, bud.
Well, Azumarill filled a fairy need and it filled a water need. That's ultimately what it needed. That's ultimately what it did, is it filled out that core for me.
Talonflame is, not as good as it once was, but still pretty good. Indeedee female, obviously being the premier
support Pokemon.
Support Pokemon, along with Dusclops, the premier Trick Room setter Pokemon, alongside Cinderace, probably the most used Pokemon in the entire draft format right now. I mean, it's a scary little combo. Like you said, you can run Grimmsnarl like 4 or 5 different ways, kind of like how you can run Dragapult 4 or 5 different ways.
Yep.
So it's gonna be just interesting to see every week. I mean, I think each team has about 1 or 2 Pokemon they can run 3 or 4 different ways. So that'll definitely be interesting and a hard guessing game to try to figure out what is coming. Well, yeah, 1, what is coming? 2, which variant is coming? And 3, how do I stop this? That's pretty much it. Not looking forward to seeing fucking Passimian again, but so be it, I guess.
Right. He's coming. Buff Momo's back, baby. Buff Momo's ready to play.
Yeah, I think as the season went on last time, the first game we had, and he just one-shots me, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? After that, we kind of got the DL on Passimian, so that's good.
Buff Momo's out for more blood. It didn't get enough last season, even though it led in kills.
It's funny because out of all the teams, Josh and I are the only ones that literally did not bring a single returning Pokemon.
Yeah.
From our teams at least.
True.
But like I said, I know someone was like, I know Josh was probably like, oh well, I can get Reuniclus, Nick's gonna get Reuniclus, and whatever, and Jared's like, oh, he's gonna probably pick up Sylveon, which actually there's no evolutions in this draft at all, nor is there Togekiss, which is very interesting.
Or Rotom.
Or Rotoms, which is also very interesting.
We already said no Rillaboom
No
too.
no Rillaboom.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other mons, but
It's
no
gonna make for an
Incineroar.
interesting free agency if anyone wants to change picks. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
no Incineroar.
Yep.
Some crazy shit, man.
Yep. Well, I
But
mean, that's also how it goes when you only got 4 teams. Hey, if you want to join the DBA, join our Discord server and let me know.
man, you're stealing my job again. Fuck. I'm Plug Daddy with Plug Daddy Jr. Who the fuck was Plug Daddy Jr. again? Oh yeah,
Indeedy.
Indeedy Mail.
Indeedy mail.
Plug Daddy Jr.
Yeah.
He's gonna be plugging up all your holes.
That's what Tangrowth's gonna be doing.
Now Tangrowth's gonna be getting weed whacked.
It needs to.
He's gonna trim that bush.
No,
That feeling.
I'm really excited for this season. It starts in 2 weeks, guys. I'm pumped. I'm very, very excited. I got most of my team ready to like start leveling up. I need to get a good Duskull and good Tangela. Those are the only things I didn't have on hand. Everything else I pretty much already had. So I'm excited for the season. But let's go ahead and wrap up the video. I'm pumped. I'm pumped for how this is gonna go. Nick, do you have any closing thoughts or anything?
No, not really. Besides, man, I got a lot of fucking work to do.
That's fucking true. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some raid grinding, man. Get them candies.
Get some raid candies, man. Good thing you got 19 switches now. Now that you've hustled everyone in your neighborhood.
Yeah, for a switch. Yo, hook me up. Hook me up. I need it now.
Hey, yo, you got a switch? You know, you're just like,
Yeah, it's
hey, man.
hey,
Hey, man,
you got a switch?
You got some switch? You got some switches? You got some switches I can use?
That's right. That's right. All right, well,
Grind
that's
some.
going to wrap up this one, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this draft breakdown from me and Third Life, the coach over at Watching Whimsicots. Make sure to go check out his channel. The links will
Buy
be
the
down in the
merch.
description below. Buy the merch when the merch comes out. We do have a merch shop in the works right now. Hopefully, it'll be going live sometime soon before the season starts. We'll see. I'm still getting some things squared away with that. Most importantly, hey, make sure to go check out our podcast. Me and Nick here. If you enjoyed our chemistry here for this episode, me and Nick, we do a podcast every single week called Lighthearted. We talk about everything great and bad in the gaming, movie, TV world. DBA is something we talk about when the season's going on. So make sure to check that out, as well as our other podcasts that Sparky3 is hosting, such as Real Talk Tho and AniMan, which Josh, coach of Arkansas State Lycan Rocks, is my co-host for. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. I think that's a good video. That's a good draft breakdown. Hope you guys are going to enjoy the DBA. I'm going to be recording my battles. Nick's going to be recording his. So you'll get to see pretty much every game besides when Josh and Jarod play. You won't see them.
Except the first week for them.
Yeah, you won't see. You'll only see our games from our point of view. So, anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Alex Light, we got Third Life.
Hey,
I'm bad at pointing. This guy. There you go. I guess I
This
don't know
guy.
I don't know my left from right. So yeah, see now you're pointing at me. So there we go. We're pointing at each other.
This
All right.
guy.
All right, guys.
This guy's a piece of shit.
Have a good one. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
We're done.